today. I actually have somebody coming on, and California traffic is like insane. So it took her a while to get out here. So I had to push back the time a little bit. It's currently 6:31. She should be here soon, but I just thought I would start and get with my recaps for the weekend because we have so much stuff going on. I think it's just crazy, especially all the quarterback news, which I'm sure everybody read about this morning. Especially when I woke up to the news of Eli Manning, I was just kind of like, whoa, what's happening? There's so many different things going on. It's like the veterans are going out of style or something. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in again, everybody. I'm Ashmere, if you've never watched Moving the Chains before, with Nuts and Bolts Sports. This is my third episode. The first one was kind of like a promo, and now here I am back to recap some content. So I wanted to start off with, like I mentioned, the quarterbacks. I mean, I believe there is a lot of change that needs to be made personally, especially with the Giants and the Panthers. It'll be good to see people come in and transition what's been going on, except for Big Ben and Drew Brees. It's definitely unfortunate that they were injured and that they've got to be, Ben's out for the rest of the season. But I definitely think him starting 0-2 was a little iffy. And so I don't think it was very reassuring for Pittsburgh fans. I mean, like I mentioned in my last episode, I kind of root for a lot of different teams. I feel like I'm a fan of almost everybody. If you know me, you know what teams I'm talking about that I'm not a big fan of, which I guess is the Patriots and the Seahawks. I think that's another one. But I definitely root for Drew Brees and for Big Ben when they're on the field, just because I feel like they're like veterans, I've grown up watching them. They've done so many great things. And so it's just kind of unfortunate that they're out due to injury. So another person is Darnold from the Jets. I thought that's like, how do you get mono? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know. I mean, I haven't had mono, knock on wood, but I don't know really any adults that get mono. I don't know. So that was unfortunate for yesterday's game. And then his backup, Trevor Siemian, got hurt afterwards, and now he's out with his ankle injury. And so the third string quarterback had to come in, and I thought he played pretty well yesterday. He threw some really great deep passes, even though the Jets still lost. But it was good to see. I mean, third string, you never know when they're going to get called up, so you've always got to be ready. And then I think, for my major people, that's who I was definitely going to cover. So let's kind of go over let's talk about the Niners and the Bengals real quick. If you watch the highlights, the Niners definitely played better than we've seen them play in a very long time. I mean, their offense was just lightning, and Jimmy was throwing down the field like nobody's business. He also ran for about 100 yards, I'd like to say. And so that's in itself just like, it's like a redemption game, I felt like. And the Bengals, I mean, I didn't believe they were a very bad team, but once you watch their defense come forward, not a lot was happening. And so it was just it was not their best game, to be frank. And now the Bengals are 0-2. The Niners are 2-0. They haven't been 2-0 since 2012 when they went to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick. And if they win on Sunday against the Steelers, which I'm not going to say that they will, but they do have a new quarterback coming in. It's been very rocky for them from the start. They don't have a lot of superstars that they could throw to down the field. So it's like, and they're playing in San Francisco. I just feel like the energy is going to be really high here. And so I definitely believe that the Niners are going to win. And they haven't been 3-0 since 1998. And so, 21 years since the Niners have been on top like that. And the Raiders, on the other hand, were just not a good game. I went to that game either way, Bay Area. I'm a Bay Area person. So yeah, definitely Matt Breida was one of the top players from that game. And I feel like he's my top running back this week because he was on fire. And He had about it was a great game. He ran through all the gaps. He was doing very well. So on to my next game. The Ravens and the Cardinals. I think this was it was close for Kyler Murray, for somebody that's only played right now for 2 games. And I thought he did really well. I mean, Lamar Jackson's my number 1 QB for the week. So I think that's a different topic on its own. I mean, he ran for 120 yards, and he was just, if he wasn't throwing down the field, he was running down the field. And I feel like that really makes you such a versatile quarterback, and it's important to have that. And it's kind of fading, especially since, like I mentioned, a lot of the veterans are getting injured right now, and there's just a lot of people that need to make up for lost ground. So Mark Andrews was played well with the Ravens as well. Him and Lamar are like a duo. I think it's like a new shining duo that will come up for week 3, especially because they're going to play in Kansas City. And Patrick Mahomes is like, just had his birthday. I think it's today, his birthday. Happy birthday, Patrick. He is playing like A1. I mean, he's got a great offense. He's got a great tight end. He's got great receivers. He's able to move around the pocket and throw dimes down the field. I mean, not to shade on the Raiders or anything, but I think it's kind of easy to throw dimes down the field when you're playing the Raiders. So I'm worried. I mean, I'm wondering how it's going to be against the Ravens, because I think their defense put a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray, and it was hard for him he got down the field, but it was hard for him to get into the end zone. I mean, the first 9 points were just field goals. So I think it's going to be a little difficult to see what's going to happen. I mean, Kansas City's defense good as too. It's going to be a really good matchup. I think that's going to be like one of my top games for Sunday, just because they've got 2 like very strong quarterbacks. They've got, great receivers. They've also got strong defenses. So it'll definitely be a good game. They are playing in Kansas City though, which I feel like is a leg up for Patrick, because it's home court advantage is like a true thing. So that'll be really fun to watch. 10 o'clock on Sunday. And for the Cardinals, I mean, I think they're playing a lot better than they used to, but that's just my own thing. I mean, the only thing I could mention is that Kyler Murray needs a little bit of more time in the pocket. It's hard. You could tell that his O-line's struggling a little bit. And next week they play the Panthers. So I don't really see them struggling that much against them, at least, just simply because Carolina's 0-2. They're both 0-2. Someone's got to win. You know what I mean? I really hope this doesn't end in another tie, because I don't want the Cardinals to have any more ties on their record right now, just because Kyler Murray worked hard to come back against Detroit, and I just believe that he could actually beat Carolina. Their run game is pretty strong with McCaffrey, but other than that, I don't know. It might have been Cam that was like an issue, that wasn't getting the passes down the field. I feel like usually he's like somebody that performs in the same sense as, like, I don't want to compare him to Mahomes, because maybe the old Cam was similar to that, but he was definitely someone that could get the ball down the field, and it hasn't been that way for a while now. So we'll see how that goes. And then finally, we've got, oh, sorry, I think she's showing up here. Well, either way, we'll just keep chatting about what else happened on Sunday. College football for Saturday, the Ducks won. And I feel like I love college football, but it's hard to discuss too many teams right now, simply because a lot of the top 25 teams are playing, teams that aren't fair competition for them. So until later in the season, I think you'll notice, and except for like the Oregon and Auburn game, which was very disappointing on my end, but that was like one of the main matchups. And then from there, it's kind of just been like a lot of different top 10 AP teams just defeating everybody by 20 points or so. And so it's not like I don't want to discuss them, but it's like more so I'll get to a point where I could show some bloopers, and then that'll be a little bit more exciting. But I think I hear her. You can come in. Okay, so we've got Courtney Lim here to talk sports betting, which is something that I've been interested in. I don't know if everybody else is interested in that. So we can chat. I feel like sports betting is this new up and coming event. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. I'm going to be honest, because I feel like I get too invested emotionally in games. So it's hard for me to talk about them money wise. Like I'll always play with my heart, not my head. That's how I always lose money, like even gambling. So
that was the hard part for me when I first started. Like even thinking about basketball, being such a big Warriors fan, you want to put your money on the Warriors every single time. Even if sometimes the numbers are like, maybe they won't achieve exactly what you think they will. So I learned the hard way a couple of times with my money.
Is it harder to bet on basketball than football?
Yes. because more points are scored. So right off the bat.
And it's easier, right, to score points.
Yeah, and it's easier. So just because of the number of points and how easy it is to score, I feel like things, like your luck can change within
so
5 minutes.
First, give me a little intro of who you are and then how you got into sports betting.
Who I am.
I mean, just like a regular girl. Like how into
girl.
Sports were you before you got into sports betting? Kind of like that.
Yeah. I grew up loving sports because I spent a lot of time with my dad on the weekends. And he was pretty strict. So he was like, you can't go hang out with all your friends where your mom lives. But you can watch sports with me. So then I ended up watching a bunch of basketball games. We were season ticket holders to Warriors. So that's how I got really into basketball. And then just got into like the NBA overall because my dad was watching every single game, whether it be the Warriors or not.
Sounds like my life.
Yeah. Baseball is a slower start for me. I haven't found myself getting passionate about it. But I can
the highlights are fun.
Yeah, I like watching highlights a lot. I like hearing about the players. The whole game itself, 90 things I don't think I can do.
Yeah.
I cannot watch a full baseball game.
So football and basketball.
Football and basketball is where I enjoy watching.
Okay.
And then when I first started, it was, before football season started, basketball season wasn't hot at the moment. So it was actually soccer.
Oh, okay. Cool.
No, but it was hard. Soccer is very hard because of how little points are scored. That's why I feel like football is a perfect in between. The middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then how I got into sports betting was a friend of mine was really invested in it. I had no idea he was doing it. And then all of a sudden he brought it up to me and asked if I'd be interested. And he basically posed it as, it's fun. You like sports and you understand sports, so why not make money off of it? So I was like, why not?
Yeah.
First month didn't go that hot. Yeah, first month didn't go that hot. So I almost gave up. And then football season came around and I learned it's more than just understanding the sport. It's really studying it in every sense of the word, which I know that you do as well.
Yeah, not for money, but yeah. I could next segment maybe have an idea, but I don't have that many right now.
But yeah. That's how I kind of got into it. And then throughout the football season, I just learned so much about football that it was like almost hard to contain all of the information. But I wasn't just relying on my own thoughts and opinions. I was also looking at different sites that shared projections, expert opinions, odds.
So you were into it.
I was really into it.
Did you play the whole season last year?
I played the entire season through Super Bowl. Like literally every weekend.
So did you pick the Patriots?
I put very little money on it. Mm-hmm. So I was...
Well, because I think the odds were in their favor anyway.
I think it's because at that very moment, I had just basically cashed out all the money that I made through, I would say, like the previous 2 months.
Oh, okay.
So I was playing it a little safe. I was like, I'm not going to lose all this money I just won. I think we were here. We watched it. I watched it here at Ashmere's house.
Yeah, but that was a terrible game anyway. So.
Yeah, it was very non-event.
Like if you had to bet on the defense, then you would have won.
Yeah, and you can like, betting is interesting to me because you can bet on so many things. I could have literally bet who's going to score first. Is it going to be like, are we going to end half with an odd total score or an even total score? It's super strange. Like,
so what do you bet? What's the app or what do you use?
So I use Bovada, which I really love. It's 100%
It's
legal.
not sponsored. I wish.
Non-sponsored. But yes, I really like Bovada. It was easy for me to learn. I think sports betting in general, a lot of people can maybe be deterred from doing it because it's intimidating. Like even when I first started, it's like, what is it? Over under, what's a point spread? I'm like trying to understand all these plus minus, all these percentages that show the odds. So that was a little difficult and a little bit of a learning curve. But once you get it down, I feel like it's so fun.
Well, that's why it's an addiction.
Yeah, no, I know you're probably
you're like, damn, I made 500. I'm about to do it again.
And then you're like, why don't I put a lot of money down on something that's really likely to happen? And then you're like, okay, maybe not. I think just last season there was a Seahawks game, and I'm racking my brain trying to remember who they played, but like all odds were on Seahawks. Like every single odd there was on Seahawks, and a man in Vegas put down like 400,000, and they lost. I lost that bet too, but I did not put down 400,000.
I don't think we'd be sitting here if you had that.
No, we would not.
Okay, so how have you been doing this season? Have you started yet?
Actually, this weekend is going to be my first season. I get very scared to join something. Like even with basketball, I waited 2 weeks. That's like my grace period to kind of fill out how everyone's doing, how the teams are meshing, especially with new players. I have my eye on a few teams that I think could be really good for me. But yeah, I'm going to bet on Thursday with the Titans and Jaguars game.
Well,
sorry, not Titans.
I think. Yeah,
Titans?
you're right.
Yeah, it's Titans.
I think they're gonna win, right?
The Titans. I have this love-hate relationship with the Titans because
they should have beat the Colts. Yeah, I was pretty pissed about that.
Every time I think that, Titans are not going to win this game. Yeah. They do. They come back and have, a strong defense. And I think that Mariota's going to come really hard because he's been getting a lot of harsh criticism.
I know. People hate on him.
Yeah. So I think he's going to come back pretty tough. And then also with Jaguars and everything that they have going on as well with Ramsey, right?
Yeah. Well, if he's going to play, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
He's trying to be the left.
So I think I am going to maybe do a parlay.
Okay.
With two.
Is this for Sunday or Thursday?
This is for Thursday. I decided I'm going to do Thursday and Sunday separately just to up my odds, because if I win on Thursday and then don't win on Sunday or vice versa, my whole bet is ruined if I choose both Thursday and Sunday. So I think I'm going to go with the Titans point spread, but I'm going to give it some time. Usually I like to wait till about 2 hours or 2 to 4 hours before the game to see what like the final point spread is. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So I might do a parlay of that and potentially the over.
Oh.
I need to look.
What's the over right now?
I can't remember exactly what it is right now.
I cannot imagine Jacksonville scoring that much. Like I can imagine if Marcus can score 41 in week 1, I think he could do that, but I don't see him scoring that.
Well, how I'm thinking is that the Jaguars, they have a great defense, but it's being put to like almost no use right now. Yeah. Fournette is not in his rookie form. So I'm thinking that the point spread, the over under will be pretty modest, but I think the Titans will come through.
I want that to happen because it's my man Marcus.
Yeah. And sometimes when these kind of games, a game like the Titans and the Jaguars where I get a little bit nervous, I'm not as 100% sure. Like, yeah, Kansas City versus the Raiders.
You picked Kansas City? Well, duh.
Yeah, I would
even though I went there, I was like, oh, we could pull it off. 10 points, 0.
Exactly. But I think that with these kind of games, maybe sometimes I take the teaser as well, so I can add in a little bit of safety.
So the other games this week, who would you bet on?
Let me see. I usually start I kind of call it research. It's like an extra job.
It is.
Maybe about 3 to 4 days before the game. But I keep up with everything that's happening just so I'm, in the loop. And I like reading about it, but oh my gosh, there's so much.
But there's so many injuries too.
I know.
Which like half the quarterbacks of the major teams that you would probably choose would be
rough. Think about the Eagles. All of their injuries right now are really detrimental for them, especially because they have an older team, so it's not great. So let's see. Okay. This Sunday, I remember when I first looked, it's a little rough. I think
feel like it's
for
a
sure
lot of
Patriots.
good matchups.
Yeah, lots of good matchups. I think for sure I'm going to take the Patriots. I mean,
But they're gonna win. It's the Jets.
yeah,
And they're on the third string quarterback.
I know. Mhm. But see how I work it is with the game like the Patriots and the Jets. The if you just take a team and say
Okay.
like they're gonna win, your odds are gonna be in your favor. So your return is gonna be really, really low. So the Patriots, I can't put an exact number to it right now, but they may be like a minus 360.
Okay.
So you're really you want it to be positive. So Jets are probably plus like 280. So like let's say you put $100 in, you're gonna if you win, Jets win. Not gonna happen, but if Jets win, you're gonna get that $100 plus an additional.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So why don't you play fantasy?
I really just haven't found people to play with.
Oh, you could.
Plus, for me, it's like I think it has to be one or the other. If I lose in fantasy and betting one week, I think that's too much
much
emotion.
loss.
Yeah, it's like too many emotions to handle.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. So I'm gonna pick 3 games.
Okay.
And you can tell me who you're deciding on. Ready?
Yeah, my gut feeling. Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna pick the Ravens and the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. I can talk about that one first. I think I'll definitely go with maybe a Chiefs point spread.
Okay. They're playing in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. They have home advantage, and then also I just think Mahomes is going to really.
Do you think that'll be an over game?
Percentage. I think that they're gonna. I think the over is going to be fairly high.
Okay.
So I think most people gravitate towards it, but sometimes in moments like that, I like to take the under and then put a teaser on it so that let's say the over is 51. So together they have to score 51 points.
Got it.
And the under would be under 50.
Right.
So if I do a teaser on, let's say, the Ravens and Chiefs game being under 51 and then the Patriots having a minus 7 point spread.
Okay.
So that means that they can lose by 7 or less and still win. Or sorry, if they can win by 7 or more.
Right.
And still win because they'll remove 7 points from their total score. And I put a teaser on that. Usually I try to do 3 picks when I do a teaser. But that would mean that I could add, let's say, 3.
You want to pick my third team?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Like for Patriots, if I do a teaser, maybe it'll give me 3 points of safety. So then Patriots would now go from -7 to -4.
Got it.
So they could win. If they win by over 4, they'll still win my bet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They'll remove 4 points from the game or from the Patriots score, and they still have to be higher than the Jets in order for me to win my money.
Okay.
And then for Chiefs, because it's an over-under, it would be maybe like 51, and then it would add 4 or 5 or however many points the percentages add up to. So then it would be like Chiefs were under 51, but now it's going to be under 54. So if they score like 53, I'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then who would you pick for the Steelers and the Niners?
I think I'd go with the Niners. Jimmy G had a really great game. Last game, I know the first game was a little bit of a rough start and people were really skeptical about him. But I think he had like a 68% pass percentage, 3 touchdowns. Like that's good news to me. And I think he'd want to keep that momentum going. And with the Steelers, I mean, I just don't.
And Big Ben's out.
Yeah, Big Ben's out. Their chemistry hasn't been there yet for me this season. So I think 49ers are going to perform for me.
Okay, this is my last one, just because I looked at it. The Bears and the Redskins.
Bears and the Redskins. I'm a pretty big Bears fan. I really like Khalil Mack. So I think I'm going to go.
Wow, same. You're not even a Raider fan.
I know. Well, yeah, no, I'm not a Raiders fan.
I was like, don't try to lie.
I was going to pretend for a
second
second because you're a big Raiders fan. And I'm like, no, I already said some things.
No,
earlier.
people really do not like the Raiders. But like people love the Niners.
I think the thing is that there are a lot of people who don't like the Raiders, but the people who like the Raiders love the Raiders. So they have one of the strongest fan bases I feel like I've seen.
I know. Now, like, I'm never going to go to a game in Vegas. Sorry.
We should go to a game in Vegas. I heard that.
Okay, so who are you picking? Eagles or Bears? You're picking the Bears? You're betting. This is not your heart that you're talking with. It's your betting brain.
It's my betting brain, but I always back up my gut feelings with stats.
Okay.
And expert opinions. And also not sponsored, but I like using CBS Sportsline to do that. They have some really great expert opinions on there.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else I talked about the Bengals game with the Niners and the Ravens and the Cardinals. I don't know if you have any commentary on that. I mean, I kind of brought up the same games that are going to be next week, so I cheated. I used my notes and asked you the games I already talked about.
No, I think I'm really excited for the Chiefs and the Ravens game.
Who's your favorite player right now? Quarterback, receiver, running back, kind of anybody that you think is performing very well?
I think it's hard for me. My favorite players in across all sports aren't always who I think are performing the best. I just really stick with them.
That's good.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm like a flip-flopper. I say it here all the time.
I'm kind of a flip-flopper, I would say, but I think I'm loyal to the ones that I've really gained a liking for, and it usually happens from their rookie season onward. Like, think of Kyle Kuzma.
Okay.
I really, really liked him during his rookie season, and I've been watching him and secretly rooting for the Lakers just in the very, very back of my head, just because I like
terrible thing.
Just because I like him. But when it comes to football, for the 49ers, I really liked watching Dante last season. And I remember I just read this article actually recently where he was answering an interview, and I think he was asked, like, do you think you'll fill Jimmy G's shoes? I know he's a wide receiver, but his completion is great. So I've liked watching him, even though he's been kind of absent this season.
Yeah.
I think on Sunday's game, he didn't get one pass thrown to him. So that was kind of upsetting to watch. I really like Deshaun Watson. I kind of, have this thing where I was rooting for the Texans last season. I'm not sure why.
You're a flip-flopper too.
I'm not sure why. Yeah. I don't have a die-hard team when it comes to football.
Got it.
With basketball, it is the Warriors, and it's always been the Warriors for me since I was a child. But with football, I think a lot of it too is like when you grow up, what your family goes for. And my family was so across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone I've met, everyone I've dated has been across the board. So it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to have that one team that everyone in your squad roots for. So
okay. Well, cool. Well, thanks for coming on. I think we're going to wrap it up today, but sorry for the delay, everybody. Next week, maybe we'll come back and recap some games. We'll talk about her betting, or she can send me her highlights and how she did.
Totally.
But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great Tuesday and week. Thanks.